Hi everyone. I wanted to give you a little bit of a background on Sylvia Plath before you read her poem Lady Lazarus for this week. I have a soft spot in my heart for Sylvia Plath. She was a poet that I read when I was in high school, along with Edna St. Vincent Millay, two female poets who, to me, just epitomized the feelings of desire and rage I felt as a teenager who was exploring independence and the notions of the differences between men and women and advantages offered to both. So a little background on Sylvia. She is an American poet who was born in Boston in 1932. Her father was a Polish immigrant, and he was also a doctor. And he died when Sylvia was 8 years old because he refused to have his toe treated. He was diabetic, and he did not want to seek treatment for his toe, and so he ended up dying because of an infection. And critics believe that Sylvia spent a good portion of her life being angry at her father for not seeking medical treatment and for not being there for her for the rest of her life. She was a very smart student, a very precocious child, and she ended up going to Smith College in Massachusetts. And while she was going to college there, she attempted suicide for the first time. She took pills and she hid under her family's house, and someone found her. She did end up completing college, got a Fulbright scholarship to go to Cambridge in England, where she met and fell in love with the poet Ted Hughes. They had a rocky relationship from the start. Again, critics believe that they had a very competitive relationship because they were both poets and authors, and so they were kind of always trying to outwrite and outdo each other, and that because he was older than she was, that she was seeking somewhat of a father figure in Hughes. He would end up being unfaithful to her. She would kick him out. They had two children together, and when she was 30, she attempted suicide again, and this time succeeded. She was found in her London flat with having taken some drugs, some pills, and had her head in the oven and the gas turned on with towels along the edge of the door so that the gas fumes would not get to her kids. It's debated whether she intended to be found or not. Friends say that she definitely intended to die. So she has, because of her short life, because of the angst and brutality and rawness of a lot of her poetry, she has become kind of the patron saint of angst and anger. She is definitely a feminist poet who is discussing the roles of women, the possibilities and opportunities for women, especially in the artist world as compared to men during that time. So there's a lot of talk about her anger with her father in a lot of her poetry, and I think you will see this in Lazarus, remembering that the title, the name of Lazarus is biblical. It's about Jesus raising a man who was presumed to be dead, and that man coming back from the dead, and there's certainly an element of rebirth and resurgence in this poem. You'll also note that there's allusions to the Holocaust, to Jewishness. Plath was not Jewish. She did not have a Jewish heritage, and her poetry has caused some uproar in the Jewish community because they feel that she has unfairly co-opted their pain, if you will, that she, as a white woman, cannot pretend to know the pain of the Holocaust and cannot use that kind of imagery in her poetry. But she does it, and it's powerful, and it makes you pay attention. So as you're reading it, I want you to think about those images, think about those allusions to the Holocaust and to being Jewish, what they do to your reading of the poem, whether they should be there, whether it's poetic license to have that kind of language and abrasiveness in a poem to express a thought. So think about those things as you read it and listen to Sylvia Plath herself read it to you. Enjoy.